Hello there, friends and followers, and welcome to this Professional Flight Planner X version 2 tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of creating a flight plan using PFPX alongside some useful tips. Please note that we are not going to be delving into every detail and option available in PFPX in this video. Suffice it to say, I will provide you with what is necessary to create a flight plan and export it successfully to your favorite flight simulator. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the configuration option, and this is where you can configure the look and feel, the planning units, no tab filters, and so on and so forth for PFPX. We're interested in the general tab here to ensure that we have the latest version of PFPX installed, so make sure that the installed and available version numbers match. Also make sure that automatically check for updates checkbox is ticked. The server subscription, if you have a valid subscription, will be displayed here with the validity date as well as the days remaining until your subscription expires. Please note that when you purchase PFPX, you are given the option to buy PFPX with a 1-year subscription to the online weather and tracks. If you don't have the online weather, you can always go to the weather tab and configure the weather using either a weather file, Active Sky, Rex, and FS Global Real Weather. Okay, we are now ready to create our first flight plan. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on Add Flight. For the purposes of our tutorial today, we are going to be creating a flight plan for Kuwait Airways Flight 117, service from Kuwait International to John F. Kennedy Airport in the United States. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to enter the flight number, which is KU117. And as you can see, the call sign has been automatically filled for you. If you're unfamiliar with the flight number or the airline codes, you can always click here. And as you can see now, we have the ICO code as well as the IATA code for all the airlines. We are going to be departing today from Oscar Kilo Bravo Kilo to John F. Kennedy, which is Kilo Juliet Foxtrot Kilo. This is a long-range flight and it is a scheduled air service for Kuwait Airways. The date is the 3rd of Jan, and just note when you change the time here, the time that you enter in the boxes is GMT, and the standard local time is what you see up here. This is the duration of the flight, about 13 hours and 45 minutes. Okay. So we need to select the aircraft here, and as you can see, we are going to be selecting a 747, Kuwait Airways 747, and it does not exist here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave this now, and we're going to say save. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to create the flight plan. We're going to click on Plan Flight. And as you can see here, we are prompted now to enter the aircraft from the aircraft database. So we're going to click on the aircraft database, and we're going to come here and say create new aircraft. The registration number for the Kuwait Airways 747-400 is 9 Kilo Alpha Delta Echo, and we're just going to copy this and put it here for the tail number as well. The type of the aircraft is a 747-400, so we're going to scroll down. There is the 747. By the way, I want to show you one thing here. By default, when you install PFPX, you'll have all of these aircraft except for this one here, which is the 787-8. And I'm going to show you later on in the video how you can add additional aircraft profiles into PFPX. All right. So, let's select the 747 again, 7-400, there we go. This particular aircraft has the Pratt & Whitney engines, so we're going to put those in, and everything else is configured for you automatically. You don't need really to change anything here. If you have Top Cat takeoff and landing performance as well, you can select it here. But we're going to go ahead and configuration, again, you don't need to enter anything here. We're going to go to the ETOPS scenario, and we're going to create one, which is the 180 minutes for the Boeing 747. And we're going to say save aircraft. All right, so the aircraft is now created. We can come now here and select the aircraft from the menu. And as you can see now, everything has been created automatically here for you. Now, in PFPX, you can manually add, the payload information, including your passengers, how many adults, children, infant. By the way, this will affect the payload, and you can configure the weight of adults, children, and infants for the different type of services, whether it's a long range or it's a domestic flight. So you can configure the weights of adults, children, infants. Infants is always 0, by the way. And you can also enter the baggage, cargo, and payload. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to select the easy way of creating everything. So we're going to click on random payload, and as you can see, it has filled everything automatically for us. Also, PFPX gives you granular control over the fuel policy that you use. You can enter the extra time, extra fuel, hold time, and so on and so forth. We're going to leave this empty for this tutorial. Again, the cost of the fuel price, and so on and so forth. We're going to click now on the route. There are many ways that you can create the route. The easiest way is to click on Find Route. You can either select upper airspace or lower airspace, and you can select all these different options here. So we're just going to select on upper airspace, and we're going to wait for PFPX to create the flight plan. As you can see now, we have the full flight plan created here. We're also going to select the automatic find alternates here, and because this particular flight requires ETOPS operations, the adequate airports have been listed here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the Advanced tab, and we're going to go to ETOPS. We're going to select the available scenario, which is 180 minutes for the 747. For the capable airports, we're going to just enter Shannon Airport and St. Paul, I believe, in Canada. So these are the two capable airports. And let's see here. Yeah, everything looks good. So we're going to say compute flight. It will probably give us some errors because of our ETOPS. But now, what I do want to show you here is we can validate the flight plan here. But before we do so, you can see here the OFP. This is the actual flight plan format. Now, by default, when you install PFPX, you will have EDS and PFPX formats. The LIDO format is something that you will have to manually add to PFPX. And PFPX actually gives you the ability to create your own flight plan formats, which is really, really cool, but it's not an easy thing to do. I'm going to provide you with a link to the LIDO format and show you exactly where you need to place it in order for it to work with PFPX. So we're going to select the LIDO flight plan, and as you can see here, you can preview the flight plan format before you actually create it. So this is the LIDO format, which is very close to what most airlines use. This is EDS format, and this is the PFPX format. I prefer the LIDO format and the kind of information that's available in terms of average wind, and just the layout is pretty similar to the one you get with SimBrief. So we're going to just click on validate, and it's going to give us some errors, and that's okay. And we're just going to release the flight. Okay, so as you can see now, we have the flight plan ready, and you have a ton of information about your flight, and this is something I really appreciate in PFPX. So if we go to the summary, here we have the fuel planning summary, load planning, zero fuel weight, under load. This is the operational flight plan, the ATC, weather, and as you can see, we have the weather at the origin, destination, and all the alternate airports, as well as the capable airports, both Shannon and St. John International. And then, of course, you have the NOTAMs, you have the tracks. Charts is something I really like because it will show you exactly, the wind direction and speed for your entire flight, along with your variation in altitude as you climb to TOC and TOD, as well as when you are in this tab, you can actually see the entire weather in route, the wind at flight level 300, flight level 340, flight level 380, and then the destination area as well, which is really, really cool. This is JFK Airport with wind direction and speed. So this is pretty much what we have on this side. Now on this side here, let me remove track from here. Let's say none. By clicking on the weather and NOTAMs here, you'll be able to see the weather information here. We can click here on the tracks again, and you can look at the Pacific and Australian tracks. And you have also a scratch pad if you want to enter some information here. So let's go back to the world map. Now, what I really like in PFPX is you can look at the wind and temperature. You can look at the jet stream, and you can also look at the turbulence data. Not only can you do that, but you can actually play this one here. All right. So now, as you can see, things are starting to change. So it will actually show you a preview of how the weather is going to change during your flight, which is really, really cool. And as you can see here, the time is passing, and this is the flight level. So if I say now, I can change the flight level to, for example, 10,000 feet. And as you can see now, we have the actual turbulence at 10,000 feet and how it will change over time. Again, I can click play and you can see how the weather actually changes. There's a lot more, by the way, that you can use here with PFPX, but I'll save it probably for another video. If you guys would like any more details on any particular feature of PFPX, please do let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so we are now ready to export our flight plan to our favorite flight simulator. We can click export, and as you can see, the route here is, the name of the flight plan is going to be Oscar Kilo Bravo Kilo Kilo Juliet Foxtrot Kilo, which is the departure and destination airports. The prepared folder is specified here, and you can just simply click on browse and select the location of your P3D installation. The explain folder is located into this drive, and the document folder is here. Now we're going to select, you can select, by the way, the PMDG. So as you can see here, we have the this one here, PMDG simulations. So this will place the flight plan in the correct folder for this PMDG flight, and you can also include the PMDG simulation wind uplink for P3D as well by selecting it here, and you can also select this for P3D version 4, and we can also select this for explain. So once you click on save, it will save the routes to all these selected folders. As you see, everything is highlighted in green now, has the flight plan saved into it. Okay, let's take a quick look at what the actual flight plan looks like. So we're going to just say OK, and we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it Oscar Kilo Bravo Kilo, Kilo Juliet Foxtrot Kilo, and we're going to save it to the desktop for easy access. And this is now what the flight plan looks like. As you can see, it's exactly what we saw in PFPX with the LIDO format now. And you can scroll through, and of course we selected everything to be printed, so all the information that we saw in PFPX will be included in the flight plan. There is another way of creating a flight plan, specifically if you're flying in the United States, by going to the FlightAware website. If you click on the origin, for example, let's say we are flying from George Bush Airport, KIAH, and heading to Chicago O'Hare International, and we're going to say select or search, beg your pardon. As you can see now, we have a lot of different flights here. This is a 737-800. It's a United flight 1854. Now, if you scroll down here, it will give you the actual route here. So you can select this route, copy it, go to PFPX. We're going to go to, no, we don't want to add a return flight. Let's see here. Okay, let's cancel this flight. And actually, let's delete this flight and add flight again here. All right, so we're going to go United. So United Airlines 1854 from George Bush to Chicago O'Hare. This is a domestic flight, as you can see. We'll say this is a scheduled service. Registration number is, do I have a 737-800? Yes, I do. There we go, a 737. And we're going to say save and go to plan flight. Now, what you can do is random payload. Let's unselect the runways. Okay. And now for the route, we're going to come here and we're going to paste the route that we just copied from FlightAware, and we're going to click on build route. And as you can see now, we have the takeoff and landing runways as well as the route here for this flight plan. And of course, you can click on flight alternates as well to complete your flight plan for this particular flight. There are a couple of things that I want to show you before the conclusion of this video, one of which is how to add different flight plan formats into PFPX. As you can see, I have the LIDO format here. Now, you can consult the PFPX manual on how to create your own flight plan format, but let me tell you guys, it's not easy. It's quite a laborious process. But there are available templates online that you can download. This is what I've done. Now, I don't quite remember where I downloaded this LIDO format template from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link to it to my Dropbox, and you can download it if you like. But let me show you what you need to do. You need to, once you have the file format, you need to navigate to the C drive, users, public, and public documents, PFPX data, and now you have here flight plan templates. And as you can see, I have placed the file here. Those two files are available by default. This one I have downloaded and placed here. So this is the path: user, public documents, PFPX data, flight plan templates. If you click on the file, as you can see, it's very ugly. So it's not very easy to do, but it's available for you. You can consult the manual to add the flight plan format of your preference. Okay, once you do it, by the way, you need to make sure that PFPX is closed. Once you open PFPX, you'll be able to see it before you compute and release your flight. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is how do you add, for example, let's come here and let's say replan. And let's say that we want to create this flight with the 747-8, okay? So if we go to the aircraft here, I do not have the 747-8, but what we can do is if I remove the registration number now and I go to the aircraft database, I don't have it here, so we're going to say new aircraft, and the 747-8 is actually not available here. As you can see here, we have the 747-4, 4F, and that's it. So we need to download the profile, the performance profile for the 747-8. To do this, we need to go first to this website here, which is aircraft, it's called airlineperformance.net, and just go to aircraft types. Once you are at the airlineperformance.net website, you can download the aircraft profile of preference here. We are interested in the 747-8i, so we're going to click here to download it. Once the file is downloaded, now we have the performance file for the 747-8. We need to copy this file, and then we need to go to the same location, users, public documents, PFPX data, and now you need to go to the aircraft types. Please make sure that you do not go to the aircraft templates, but the aircraft types. Right click and paste the file here. As you can see, we have now the 747-8i. Once you have placed the aircraft performance file in the correct location, please make sure that you restart PFPX and head back over to your flight plan. We're going to go back to the aircraft database and we're going to say add new aircraft. And now we're going to enter the registration number, which is November 7654. And now if you scroll down here, you'll be able to see that we have the 747-8I listed as part of the available aircraft for PFPX. And now you can, of course, select engine variants if there are any, and select all the other configurations as we did previously. Well, folks, this brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that this was a useful and insightful video. If you have any questions, please do post them in the comments section below. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.